Super Bowl champion, winning football coach and legend. Can't thank him enough for joining in here early. Coach Vermeil joins the show. Coach.
Hey, good morning, guys.
How you doing, brother? Man.
I'm doing okay for an old man, thank you.
You look great. Let me tell you look great. Haven't seen you since the UCLA practice some years ago. So
You must have been in diapers at that time.
Hey, it's good to see you. No, you came out to see, I think, one of Coach Moore's teams practice or something. Yeah. So legend, man. I can't thank you enough. We've had all these different guys on all week, last week, this week. We've had a bunch, and it seems to always go back to being a California JUCO product. Yeah. Unbelievable. I got to ask you, me coaching this JUCO thing on Netflix and doing the junior college thing, I called it football gel for all the kids to get out and get back to the 4-year level. How much do you contribute JUCO to your success?
Well, really, I went to a small high school, 130 kids in the high school, 29 kids in my graduating class. And I wasn't planning on going to college. And my senior year, a new football coach came in town, Calistoga, north end of the Napa Valley. And being coached by him, one day he said, Vermeil, if you wanted to, you could play college football. And no one had ever told me that before. And I wasn't planning on going to college. And I wasn't in college prep. I was just fooling around, driving a 36 Ford Coupe and chasing girls and playing football, basketball, and track because they needed every boy to compete. And he said, but, with what you haven't done in school, you're going to have to go to JUCO, junior college. So I said, all right, I'll do that, coach. So I went to Napa Junior College. Played there 2 years, and at the end of my third semester, I transferred to San Jose State as a walk-on. And one of the coaches on the junior college staff was a San Jose State guy, and he took me down there and showed him the films that we had and that kind of stuff. So they let me walk on, and mid-spring practice, I got a scholarship, and it changed my life, really. And I have been a big fan of the junior college program ever since and always will be. And I've seen what it can do for kids like me and other parents that can't afford to send them right off to a 4-year school. You get a lot of the stuff out of the way, the basics that help you be better prepared for the real stuff you're going to be taking your junior, senior. And I went on and got my master's in general secondary. So I'm a big, big fan. And there's no better program than in California. No other state has the complete junior college program that California has.
Yeah, we got 72 JUCOs in California that play football. The rest of the country combined only got 70. So California's been doing it a long time. And I've coached in both California JUCO and the Kansas JUCO level, right. and it's great there too. But we had Jeff Garcia on the other day. We had Warren Moon on yesterday, both California JUCO guys. And then yourself. It's crazy how many California JUCO products we've produced. Aaron Rodgers, obviously, and all the other guys that come out of California, Josh Allen now up north in your area. It's crazy how it works. It's unbelievable. But let's dive right into it.
I can tell you a story. Let me interject here if you want to.
Heck yeah. Anytime.
You missed Warren Moon. You mentioned Warren Moon. Okay.
Yeah.
Fine JUCO player in Southern California.
Yeah.
Carl Peterson, who was working for me at that time, ended up being the 20-year president of the Kansas City Chiefs. Okay. He recruited Warren Moon to UCLA. And in the final decision, I think he would have come. I don't know. We turned him down because we already had 3 quarterbacks in scholarship for him and could play. John Shire, who'd be the most valuable player in the Rose Bowl, and Jeff Dankworth, quarterback the team. I think went 11-1 the next year after I left, or 10-1. So I never believed in stacking kids up and putting them in my program so I didn't have to play against him. So I said, Carl, let's let him go. And he went on to University of Washington. Just a wonderful kid at that time, and even a more brilliant, wonderful guy today. Okay.
No doubt.
Jeff Garcia, we brought him in. John Ralston sent him to me when I was at the Rams and said, would you consider signing this guy? Now, he's been around, he can play and all that stuff. But I said, John, I just signed Kurt Warner. I don't need another one of those kind of guys to give them. I can't give everybody an opportunity to play in our training camp. Right. So those 2 guys mean a lot to me, and I think about them often. Yes, I do.
That's
crazy. Well. Yes.
Heck yeah, that's great. Reminiscing that one. That's UCLA. Let me start right out there. I know Coach Martz a little bit. I've clinic with Coach Martz quite often back in the day. We had him on the show a couple months ago. And I got to ask you right out the gate. So the Rams, obviously me growing up in LA, Rams fan, watching the whole Eric Dickerson and everybody. Jackie Slater's on after you today.
Good for him. Good man.
Yeah.
I tried to make a coach out of him. He wouldn't do it.
Hey, he was coaching JUCO out here for a hot minute in Saddleback Community College here in
Saddleback.
Yeah, he was coaching there for a hot minute, I believe. But I just got to ask you, like, going through the whole process, and I was talking to Coach Martz. You have Kurt, you have Trent Green, obviously, probably as the starter, and then you got guys like Balger that comes down. All these guys are similar, 3-quarter release, quick release guys. Was that your kind of vision going in, having a quick release offense, getting Mike Martz to run it, or was that Coach Martz?
I would say it's a combination, but mostly Coach Martz refining what we'd already been doing for 2 years and refining what I had done all the way back in my Eagle days. Because, I had hired Rod Dowhauer, when I was at UCLA as my offensive coordinator. He's a Don Coryell guy, an outstanding football coach.
Yeah,
and he helped train me in the Don Coryell thinking and the number system and all that kind of stuff. So then Jerry Rome ran the offense for me, and he had worked for at the Reds, what we call the Commanders.
Yeah.
For Joe Gibbs. So I had that influence, and then Mike Martz had that influence, and then Mike Martz took over, and he took what we had been doing in 2 years and advanced it. We added Marshall Faulk, and got Torrey Holt and these kinds of players, and London Fletcher, who became a good player later on, and all these kind of guys. And Mike, I don't think any coordinator ever came into an organization and made as positive a contribution to the success of a team that had only won 9 games in 2 years prior to, and take you to the World Championships. I think of Mike all the time. In fact, I make sure he drinks Vermeil wine. Okay.
Hey, I love it. I love it. My sister years ago actually got married up there in Napa area. So what an area, what a country. I got to ask you, and make sure you guys tap in and find Coach Vermeil's wine. I got to ask you a question a lot of people may not know. You and Carl Peterson for the Chiefs, I think in 2000 or 01, I forgot, but you you got a guy that went undrafted as a free agent, Brian Waters, offensive guard, obviously.
Yeah.
What did you see in him that no one else did for this guy to be undrafted and becomes a 6-time Pro Bowler?
Well, he was there when I got there.
Okay.
But he was covering kickoffs. And when I got there and saw him, I said, this guy is no longer covering kickoffs. I let the starting left guard go. No, I made him back up and moved Brian in as the starter. And I tell you, Brian Waters is a Hall of Fame quality guard. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
I've coached a lot of guys. I've coached a lot of guys, and I've watched them mature and grow. Nobody's stronger at the point of attack than him, just physically, right on. I say this, and I've said it all the time. He would have been a better offensive center than guard, because he could handle the guy that's 2 inches off his nose as well as anybody, because he was so physical and so strong and a gifted athlete. Hell, he could run. Like I said, he was covering kickoffs. That's crazy. Brian Waters is a Hall of Fame caliber offensive lineman.
And probably will get on. Smitty can tell you, we've had all these guys. We had, Dan Fouts, thinking of Coryell. We had Dan Fouts and Charlie Joyner on last week, and we were talking about the guys that get in and don't get in for the Hall of Fame. And it seems like some guys that don't get drafted or work their way up, like Jeff Garcia was like, listen, I'm the all-time passing leader in 49ers of history until Brock broke some of my records. And he was like, because my draft status and such will hurt us. Do you think there's something to that? Yeah.
I think there is. Hey, look at London Fletcher.
Yeah, underrated.
16 years in the league, never missed a game.
That's crazy.
Became a starter his second year there and never missed a start from then on. The rest of his career and his numbers, I took his numbers, tackles, assists, interceptions, and fumble recoveries and touchdown, everything, and put it. And he's better than some of the guys that are already in the Hall of Fame at that position. But when you come up as an unexpected free agent, nobody ever believes you're that caliber. Sam Mills ended up Okay,
Yeah,
Sam
yeah.
made it like that, and London is at least in Sam's category. Okay, at least in Sam's
I agree.
category.
Smitty will tell you,
Man.
I got guests on all the time, and I always mess with them. I'm like, they're like, "Who's your best top 5?" And I got London. I always say London Fletcher, and everybody laughs at me. I'm like, man, you guys don't really watch ball like that, man. London was
He's
unbelievable.
amazing.
You know, the first guy that ever told me how good he was John Madden.
Really?
The last game of the season, London Fletcher's rookie year, he gets to start the game because of an injury. Okay, he'd been a special teams player the whole time. The game's over. Now, John and I are JUCO guys, okay, right?
Yeah.
California JUCO, yeah.
A long time ago. And he meets me down walking off the field and into the locker room. And he says, you know something? I don't know who that little guy is you got playing middle linebacker, but that kid can play. It's exactly what he said to me.
Rest in peace, John, man. Miss that voice. Gosh,
You
dang.
bet.
No doubt.
Legend. So now I want to jump in. You mentioned this name earlier, Kurt Warner. What was it like about him that made him special? What did you see in him to where you knew that like this was my quarterback?
Yeah. Well, to be honest with you, I could see in him that he could play. I couldn't see in him that he could play like he did. Okay. To me, I compare him to the guy in the Second World War or Vietnam, the soldier that's just an everyday soldier, but in battle, he wins the Medal of Honor. You just don't know until you put him under the gun, you know. And I watched him as our third quarterback. You know, when you're a head coach and not running your own offense or defense, and you're on the practice field, you see a lot more. You see everybody. And I would stand in the secondary when the third string offense was running against running the opponent's offense, getting ready. Okay. And Kurt would be running that offense. And he would pick our defense apart. And I'd walk off the field. I'd say to Peter Junta and John Bunning or Bud Carson, I'd say, you know, guys, either our defense is terrible or this kid can play. You know? And he would make the defensive coaches mad because you know, a quarterback in practice running the opponent's office runs it off an 8x10 card. It's all drawn and they circle where he want him to go with the ball because that's what the opponent had been doing. Yeah. Okay, Kurt would get in there, look around, and boom, throw it complete to a different receiver, and the coaches would get all upset. And you know, he would see that he was covered. That scheme, that coverage scheme, covered that pattern, so he went someplace else with it. And that what you automatically say then. I wonder if this kid could do it in front of 65,000 people. He's never, you know, he's playing in Arena League, you know. And but he had great faith and confidence in himself. We sent him to Germany to play before he actually became a Ram. He played 10 games over there. Charlie Armory went over twice and watched him. We sent him the playbook and all that kind of stuff. And when he came back for the mini camp, he was ready to play. And those were all good signs, but no way could you predict he could do what he did. No quarterback has ever done what he's done. Okay.
Man, it's crazy. I got people in the chat are going crazy to start the show that you're on, number one, and then two, talking about comparing Warner to Mahomes and all this stuff. I'm just like, it's an interesting question. I got one too, though. You being at UCLA, a California guy, the Rams obviously get sold, breaks LA's hearts for a lot of reasons. Go to St. Louis, you get it done there. Have you ever thought in your wildest dreams, if that was LA Rams, would it have meant more to you just because it's California and UCLA coming back to LA and winning a Super Bowl for the LA Rams? Does that matter, or did it matter at the time at all? Obviously, probably didn't.
You know, you're the first guy to ever ask me that question.
Wow.
And it wouldn't have mattered. You know, a coach gets deeply involved with his team.
Sure.
They don't, whatever you call them, that's his team. Could be the Los Angeles Dodgers. It could be the San Diego. It doesn't matter. It's your team. And that team took a while to really become my team, our team. And yes, I appreciated St. Louis, and it wouldn't have made any difference to me. You know, remember, I had been an assistant at the Los Angeles Rams. Yeah. And that's one reason they brought me out of coaching, because I knew Georgia. I had worked for she and her husband. You know, I'd been involved with that program before. So, and they trusted me, and then thankful for them for giving me the opportunity and brought me back.
Sorry. So are you happy? Is it for? I don't know what the question is. Are you happy for the league, the city, or what for LA to get the Rams back? And do you believe St. Louis will get a team back?
I think it'll be very tough for St. Louis to get a team back. Not that they didn't support him, because you couldn't get a seat in there after we got him going, or every advertising venue was sold. But I always felt Los Angeles Rams belonged in Los Angeles. Okay, I'm old-fashioned. Remember how old I am. Okay, the LA Rams. I remember those all the way back. I joined them in 1969. George Allen was coaching. They were the LA Rams. But once in St. Louis, I never thought of it that way. But as I look on the whole picture of the history of the league, there are other teams that have moved that I feel the same way about.
Yeah,
I feel sorry for St. Louis, because when I go back, it's an empty area over there. It isn't nearly what it was, regardless of a wonderful baseball program. It isn't what it used to be. Places that are closed that used to be active and jumping, and a whole vibrant area. It's not what it used to be.
I think when teams leave, you don't understand how much that affects the area too, right? Local businesses, things like that.
The economy and the people, the attitude, the morale. I tell you, it was a very nice city to work in. Very nice city.
Let me ask you this. We talked about, how great those Rams offenses, were during your tenure. How much, when you look at the game today, how much, I guess, influence do you believe you and your team and your offense has on the offenses today that we see?
Well, I could say, that was nicknamed, the greatest show on turf.
Yep.
But you also have to remember, guys, most people don't know this. There were 11 touchdowns scored that year when the offense was sitting on the bench. So we got a little more credit maybe than we should have. But I think it was stimulating to see how explosive our offense was and how much the fans enjoyed it, how one play could change it. And basically, when we lined up 11 guys, everybody that touched the football could score.
Right.
Many times you have 2 or 3 guys that could make the big play. Sometimes they're not on the field at the same time. Okay. But excuse me, when our offense was put together and we started the 99 season, everybody that touched the ball offensively, actually without substituting, could score from anywhere on the field. And and Mike did a beautiful job. And the rest of the coaches, Jim Hannafin, and Al Saunders, all these guys did a beautiful, beautiful job of coaching. Marshall Faulk, okay? I became one of the best running back coaches in football that year, okay? When he touched the ball, one time we're playing Cleveland in St. Louis, and he makes like a 47-yard touchdown run. And Jim Hannafin standing right next to me, the old-time great Hall of Fame caliber offensive line coach. I said, Chip, he just scored from 47 yards out. We didn't block anybody.
Made our job easy, right?
Yeah. Now he's coaching,
Yeah, Colorado. I've had Marshall on, see him at the conventions now. He's trying to coach. Like, I'm like, all right.
Yeah. I'll tell you, he'd be a great one. A very bright guy, very, very smart. You could learn a lot from him on the sideline, what was going on. I remember listening to his conversations with Wilbert Montgomery, who I had made a coach out of. And he was only in his 3rd year of coaching when Marshall came there. And when he would come out of the game, they would talk. I'd go over and listen to find out what's going on, because Marshall knew. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No doubt. Let me ask you something real quick about one particular player, because Coach Martz was actually pissed off about it. Torrey Holt not being in the Hall of Fame. I think he's one of the most gifted hand-eye, just ball skill guys I've ever seen catch the ball with his hands. Ball never crossed his face. Like, it was unbelievable when he catch the ball on the move, and how impressive it was for Kurt and Trent and all those guys to get the ball to him out in the open. And you always see these great catches. You had obviously Isaac Bruce, another California JUCO product. You had all these guys. Is Torrey getting kind of the short end of the stick here on the Hall of Fame? I know he's he's up for the class again, I think. To me, he's one of the greatest ever. How good, special really was he?
He's a Hall of Fame receiver. Okay. He is a Hall of Fame wide receiver. But that position today is becoming the toughest position to evaluate and to vote on, because there's a lot of fine receivers today. But I'll tell you, he was, from the time he stepped on the field as a rookie, he never played the game like a rookie. I mean, he was an all-pro caliber receiver the minute he started practicing with us in 1999. And he's a Hall of Fame wide receiver. And the trouble is now the numbers keep expanding because they're throwing the ball more now even than they were then. And not a lot more. That's sometimes distorted, but just no question that he's a Hall of Fame. And I think eventually he'll get in as a senior wide receiver. He should.
Yeah,
No doubt.
Anyone who's coached him will tell you the same. Mike Martz will tell you the same thing. Al Summers will tell you the same thing.
Yeah, no doubt.
Sure.
Coach Martz was actually like hot. Like, no,
really,
he was breaking down like what he did in a row consecutively.
And all this. I've written the reports and sent them in for the voters. Almost as bad as the fact that no coach is going in there. Mike Holmgren.
He mentioned that.
Oh my God. It's they changed the system. And I'm anti the system they changed it to. They put three voting thing into one category. The senior player, the contributor, and the coach are all voted by the 50 people within one vote, and you got to get 80% vote. And there are only 4 guys going in the Hall of Fame. Okay. And, only 40 guys going in. And Mike Holmgren and Tom Coughlin, Mike Shanahan, Dan Reeves, Marty Schottenheimer, are you kidding me? It's almost, I say this, and I'm not mad about it, get upset. It's almost disrespectful of the coaching position.
There's no question. I don't think people know what it takes. I think these people think this is just roll the ball out.
Who's the first guy they fire? The
coach. Yeah.
Hey, coach, I used to I took your model from the Chiefs and other places you were at and took the win model. What's important now? I took it on the back of our shirts and I put it everywhere. What's important now is the acronym I use. And I told my staff, I'm like, you guys get hired, I get fired.
Yeah.
And that's just crazy how it works. The head guy gets fired. You guys all keep your jobs at least till June or whatever. So I don't know. What's your thoughts on the comparison? I hate the comparisons, the thief of joy. Priest Holmes you have, Marshall Faulk you have. How, I guess there are different players, obviously. One you use in a lot more wide out position type of style. But how comparable were they skill set wise and just how great those two guys were individually?
Well, yeah. Both very, very effective, very, very effective, efficient, good runners. Marshall probably more explosive, more gifted athlete in terms of fluidity and agility and that kind of stuff. Priest was a very, very good reader of defenses, run well, and could find, he didn't have great speed, great balance, recognition what was going. He would set blocks up, and we probably had one of the finest offensive line in the history of the league when he was really, you got a Hall of Famer at left tackle and Rofe. You got Brian Waters at left guard. You got Casey Wiggin at center, who's made the Pro Bowl. You got Hall of Famer at right guard, Will Shields, right tackle, and then a Hall of Fame tight end. And then the backup tight end could block and Jason Dunn could block like a tackle. But I thought Priest Holmes was just a very deliberate type. He could take the play that you have designed and you are blocking and make it more efficient because of his skills and awareness. He didn't have the speed or the elusiveness that a Marshall Faulk had. Very few people ever had. Marshall Faulk could have played left corner. It wouldn't matter where you put him, he could play.
No doubt.
When he went to San Diego State because the colleges recruiting him wanted him to play defense.
Yep, he told the story on my
great
show.
Athlete.
Yeah. Last thing I got for you, Coach, and Smitty might wrap it up. Let me ask you, Pete Carroll's come back in as an older coach because now we got these young coaches that use analytics and all this craziness that I can't stand. But we got Pete Carroll back in. Coach Belichick went back to college, which is in a crazy, ironic move. And then we have other guys that are getting back in it. Are you happy to see a couple older guys get back in it and give one last run like a Pete Carroll and the Coach Belichick?
I am. You talk about Pete Carroll in the NFL. He's done it. He's been unsuccessful and rebuilt, became more successful, and then took, should have won 2 Super Bowls. Okay, we all know that play. Okay, but anyway, and a great guy, and has stayed up in his thinking of how you coach today in comparison to how you used to coach. We used to coach a lot different than they coach today. Practices are 45 minutes a day shorter, and no double days with pads, everything. Hell, the first 2 years at the Rams, we never took the pads off for 2 years except the day before the game. Okay. You're laughing. Okay. But it's different. But Pete Carroll has adjusted real well. And he'll add things to that program. If you were a young coach, it'd take you 10 years to remember how to do it because he's already done it. He's already done it. There's no substitute for experience.
I could talk to you for hours and hours about practice. Smitty's a youngster, so he's a little younger. He's early 30s, and he played at Ball State, played in the MAC at Ball State, and he remembers a couple.
I had 2 days. I had, I'm still old enough to where I had a little bit of the old school flavor too. So yeah.
Hey, Coach and I had 3 days though. You don't remember that?
I didn't have 3 days. I didn't have 3 days. I had 2 days.
People accuse me of having 3 days, but I really never did. Never.
See, thank you.
Yeah.
And if you did, it's our secret anyway. I love it, Coach. I can't thank you enough. It's been a true honor and pleasure to have you on here. Hopefully, I get you on again. You look great. Hopefully, you're enjoying the wine. And are you up in Napa area? Are you in Cali? Or are you back?
I'm in Pennsylvania now. As soon as the harvest starts, I'll go out and work the harvest. I'll be out there at the end of August and through September. Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Hopefully, I come see you, man, and have a sip with you. You take
care.
Appreciate you. You too, brother.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks.